where we are going to discuss Mrcchhakatika and Shravilaka, right? So it is the third day, and this Act 4 that revolves around the character. What the characters? Shravilaka, Mrcchhakatika, and Basanta Sena, right? So when we talk about Shravilaka, so who is he? A thief by profession, Shravilaka. So who arrives at Basanta Sena's house? Why? Now with the intent to buy the freedom of Mrcchhakatika. Because we know that Shravilaka and Mrcchhakatika both are means loving to each other. So who is a maid servant and the love interest of Shravilaka, isn't it? Now to achieve this, Shravilaka plans to use what? The stolen gems, right? So which he had previously acquired. His main goal is what? Main goal is to free Mrcchhakatika from servitude. Servitude means free from the job of servant, right? So that they can stay together, isn't it? Now, what is the Shravilaka's plan? Now you understood that Mrcchhakatika and Shravilaka, so they are the couple. They are they love to each other. But the problem is called as Mrcchhakatika means worked as a maid servant to Basanta Sena. So Shravilaka's main thought is what? To make Mrcchhakatika free from means Basanta Sena's house. So what is Shravilaka's plan? Shravilaka brings the stolen gems, right, to Basanta Sena's house with the hope of using them as payment for Mrcchhakatika's freedom, right? Now, what happened? He took the money, he took the gems and he sold it, and with the money he would do what? He would give it to Basanta Sena and get the freedom of Mrcchhakatika, isn't it? So to achieve this, Shravilaka plans to use those stolen gems which he had previously acquired, and his main goal is to free Mrcchhakatika from servitude so that they can be together. Now, what is Shravilaka's plan? Shravilaka brings the stolen gems to Basanta Sena's house, so and use them as payment for Mrcchhakatika's freedom. He is motivated by love. And why did he do that? Now, because he is motivated by love. And though this method, or though his method is what? Stealing. His method is nothing but a stealing, are questionable. His goal is noble. So maybe the medium he chose is bad or called as wrong, but the goal is what? Noble, right? So now when we understand Shravilaka's plan, now what happened? Basanta Sena, now Basanta Sena's reaction. Basanta Sena, who is Basanta Sena? Now, you can talk about Basanta Sena, the wealthy courtesan, right? So what do you mean by courtesan? Courtesan is the part of the court, right? So over years, Shravilaka is explaining how he came into possession of the gems, right? How he got that gems. She learns that he stole them to free his beloved Mrcchhakatika, right? So despite knowing that the gems are stolen, Basanta Sena empathizes. Empathizes means what? Show the kindness with the Shravilaka's intention and decides to accept the gems without making any objection. So Basanta Sena is generous and compassionate, right? Generous and compassionate, understanding the value of love and freedom. And what did she do? She grants Mrcchhakatika her freedom and allowing her to be with Shravilaka. Isn't it? Got my point? Understood? So next is called as Shravilaka's departure. Shravilaka's departure in that. After securing Mrcchhakatika's freedom, so Shravilaka quickly leaves Basanta Sena's house, and his next mission is to help his friend. What is his friend name? Aryaka, right? So who has escaped imprisonment, right? So who has escaped imprisonment? Aryaka is a freedom fighter who opposes the oppressive king, right? And Shravilaka's assistant demonstrates his loyalty and sense of justice. Now here we meet another character. It's called as Aryaka. And what Aryaka did? Aryaka did nothing but Aryaka was a freedom fighter, and he was a good friend of Sarvilaka and helping to Sarvilaka and showing loyalty and sense of justice towards him. Now, Maitriya's arrival. Now, here what happened? Another character who is the friend of Charudatta. So, Maitriya's arrival, Maitriya, Charudatta's friend, arrives at Basanta Sena's house. During this act, he brings with him a pearl necklace. Right. Now, who brings what? Now, you will find out Maitriya. Right. So, who is the Charudatta's friend, arrives at Basanta Sena's house during this act, and he brings with him a pearl necklace, right? Which he intends to give to Basanta Sena, right? As repayment for the Jain casket, right? Repayment for the Jain casket that Charudatta had lost earlier in the play, isn't it? So, however, Basanta Sena, rather than accepting the necklace as a payment, uses it as an opportunity to visit Charudatta, right? So, and this implies that Basanta Sena has a developed affection. Affection for whom? Affection for Charudatta. And what does he wish? Now, he wishes to spend more time with him. Sorry, she wishes to spend more time with him. Him means Charudatta, right? So, in that case, Basanta Sena has a developed affection for Charudatta and wishes to spend more time with him. Isn't it? Now, this is what called as Act 4, right? Where we talk about the thing, but Madanika and Sarvilaka. And what did we know from this? That how Madanika and Sarvilaka both are the couple, and how Sarvilaka did nothing but sell the gems to whom? Sell the gems to Basanta Sena, which he took from Basanta Sena and sell it to him, sell it to her. Right. And what happened? Means, despite knowing everything, Basanta Sena, had the Sarvilaka and took the money as well as returned, means made Madanika free from servitude, free from servitude, or called as a maid servant job. Right or not? And here also we find out Maitriya and Charudatta, right? So who did what? Now who decided to return some necklace, right? Which Basanta Sena left in Charudatta's house, right? And it shows that what? But Basanta Sena took the advantage and wanted to go to Charudatta's house, right? So it seems like what Basanta Sena had developed, love for Charudatta, right? Now the next one is called as Act 5, right? Act 5, which is stated about the stir, right? And this is the again called as the evening of the third day. That one is the Act 4 is the morning of the third day, and this one is the evening of the third day. And this act does what? Centers on a powerful storm, right? Powerful storm means something which is called as a badly occurred, right? So that acts as a background for the interaction between Charudatta and Basanta Sena. So you would find out the setting was something like that. Huge storm is going on at the back end, right? And when the Charudatta and Basanta Sena, they are interacted with each other. The storm becomes a metaphor. The storm becomes a metaphor for the turmoil, or called the difficulty, challenges, and tension that focuses their relationship and the events of the play. Now, we all know that Charudatta is a very poor, right? Whereas Basanta Sena is wealthy, right or not? So here, when they both love to each other, in that case, Basanta Sena had an affection for Charudatta, right? But Charudatta knows about his condition, isn't it? So when they both talk to each other, at the same time, the writer stated that the storm was going on at the back end, right? So Charudatta's anticipation. So Charudatta's anticipation means Charudatta, a noble yet impoverished man, What do you mean by impoverished man? That's called as a poor, living in a poverty, right? Charudatta, right? So waits in his garden for Basanta Sena. Who is waiting for whom? Charudatta is waiting for Basanta Sena. Who is Basanta Sena? Is the rich, wealthy woman, right? So and he has become fond of her, right? Who has become fond of her? Charudatta becomes fond of her, right? And their relationship appears to be developing into something deeper. Now you find out that they had a kind of a, deeper, uh, you can say deeper in emotion. So Charudatta's waiting shows his interest and growing affection for Vasanta Sena, right? Now in that case, uh, we find out that Charudatta and Vasanta Sena's love started here. Now, Vasanta Sena's journey, when Vasanta Sena makes her way to Charudatta's house, right? As Vasanta Sena makes her way to Charudatta's house, she is accompanied by a courtier. Courtier means, you understand that what is a part of the court. Along the way, they describe the approaching the storm, nothing its intensity and the challenges it poses, right? Along the way, while Vasanta Sena was going with the courtier, so the courtier stated that how the storm is coming near, right? And it shows the kind of degree of intensity and the challenges that they are going to meet. The storm adds a sense of urgency and drama to her journey. And the storm symbolizes what? The emotional and physical obstacles that both characters must overcome. Both characters must overcome means what? That called Vasanta Sena and Charudatta. So we find out that what? Emotional, physical obstacles, right? And you would find out the urgency. So who? Charudatta and Vasanta Sena, they are going to face it, right? Then we find out what? Explanation of the Jain casket, right? So when Vasanta Sena reaches Charudatta's house, right, she explains to him, right? She explains to him, Charudatta. Charudatta was waiting in his garden, no, for Vasanta Sena. When Vasanta Sena reaches Charudatta's house, so Vasanta Sena explains to him how she regained the Jain casket that had previously been lost. It means Vasanta Sena told the truth that she got the Jain casket, and this explanation clears up the misunderstanding about the lost jewels and further strengthens the bond between them. Because the story begins with what? Vasanta Sena secretly entered Charudatta's house and left the gems of casket, isn't it? And what happened? We talk about Sarvilaka, who took it from Charudatta's house, right or not? And what did he do? He sold it to whom? He sold it to Vasanta Sena in replace of what? He wanted his lover, Mrcchhakatika, to come or get the freedom, isn't it? Now, Vasanta Sena told everything to Charudatta, and their confusion went away. And finally, what happened? Their relationship goes deeper and deeper, right? So it creates nothing but a deeper emotional connection between the two characters after knowing the fact. The storm can be seen as a symbolic cleansing or a turning point, right? Washing away previous misunderstanding and bringing them close together. Now, if you talk about that, what does the storm do here? The storm does nothing but what? Then clear the previous misunderstanding between them and make them closer together, right? So in that case, what you will draw from the Act 4 and Act 1, Scene 4 and Scene 5. Now, if you look into it, Act 4 and 5, what do you find out? You will find out nothing but the theme and symbolism is nothing but called as a love and sacrifice, right? What is that love and what is that sacrifice? Now you can say Sarvilaka's willingness to still, right, and risk his safety for the freedom to his beloved Mrcchhakatika highlights nothing but the theme of love and sacrifice, isn't it? So, and Basanta Sena's acceptance of the stolen gem shows that what her compassionate nature and also desire to support the love between Charvilaka and Madanika. Isn't it? Second is called as freedom and compassion. So Madanika's freedom represents what? The power of compassion and understanding in the face of rigid societal norms. Right. So Basanta Sena, despite being aware of the threat, shows her humanity by choosing to grant Madanika's freedom rather than adhering to street laws or material gain, right? Then third is called as the storm as a metaphor. When you talk about storm as a metaphor, so the storm in Act 5 can be seen as a metaphor for the emotional turbulence faced by the characters, right? So it represents the external and internal conflicts in the play that the between Vasanta Sena and Charudatta, right? So, as well as the cleansing power of nature, which brings clarity and resolution. And you can find out Vasantasana and Charudatta's misunderstanding went away, right? So, class and generosity, you also find out what Vasantasena, though wealthy, rich, shows empathy and kindness to those below her in social standing, such as Sarvilaka and Madanika, as well as Charudatta, who is noble but poor. Her generosity and willingness to look beyond class distinctions are, called as a main part to the character. Right? Growing affection, we can talk about the relationship between Charudatta and Vasantasena that deepens throughout these acts, with the storm acting as a literal and symbolic value that brings them closer together. Vasanta Sena's decision is what? To visit Charudatta under the pretext of receiving the pearl necklace, right? Shows her affection and desire to be near him, right? So, in conclusion, if you look at the in Acts 4 and 5 of the play, what do we see? We see critical character developments and plot advancement. Sarbilaka's love for Madanika leads to her liberation, while Basanta Sena and Charudatta's relationship that influence in the middle of the dramatic backdrop of her story. Right. So themes of love, sacrifice, and compassion, right, dominate this act, while the storm symbolizes both the literal and emotional turbulence, marking nothing but a pivotal point in the theory. Right. This is what nothing but the Act 4 and 5. Right.